to make it back. So if by the time
Join me as I navigate the tricky waters of choosing family over my wife's friends and see if I end up being the butthole. So, let's dive into the scenario that's been playing on my mind lately. I'm a husband, and I love my wife, but I've found myself in a bit of a pickle. You see, my wife has this amazing social circle, and I've always been supportive of her friendships. However, things started to get complicated when our family dynamics began to clash with her social life. I think we've all been there, trying to balance our family commitments with our social lives. But what happens when those two worlds collide, and you're forced to make a choice between the two? For me, the tension started to build when my wife would prioritize her friends over our family time. I'd try to plan special occasions or activities with our kids, but she'd already committed to girls' nights or weekend getaways with her friends. It wasn't just about the logistics, though. The real issue was that our family started to feel like we were taking a backseat to her friendships. We'd make plans, and then she'd cancel at the last minute because something came up with her friends. Or, she'd promise to be present for an important family event, but end up getting sucked into a conversation with her friends and leaving us feeling neglected. I know my wife loves us, and she wasn't intentionally trying to hurt our feelings. But the emotional turmoil was real, and it started to take a toll on our relationships. I felt like I was stuck in the middle, trying to navigate her friendships while also being a good husband and father. As I delved deeper into the situation, I realized that my wife's friends had become an integral part of our lives. They were the people she confided in, the ones she laughed with, and the ones she relied on for emotional support. But our family had its own dynamics, its own history, and its own set of complexities. My wife's friends didn't understand the intricacies of our family relationships, and that's when the friction started to build. My wife and I met in college, and we quickly fell in love. We built a life together, had kids, and thought we had it all figured out. But as our families grew, so did the expectations and responsibilities. My wife's friends were her support system, but they also brought their own set of drama and gossip into our lives. There was one particular incident where my wife got caught up in a feud between two of her friends, and it spilled over into our family dynamics. The tension reached a boiling point when my wife asked me to attend a friend's birthday party on the same day as our family's annual tradition. I had promised our kids we'd spend the day together, but my wife was adamant that we attend the party. I was torn, but in the end, I chose to prioritize our family and told my wife that I couldn't make it to the party. The aftermath was intense. My wife felt like I was abandoning her and her friends, while I felt like I was standing up for our family's needs. The emotions ran high, and we had some tough conversations. In the end, I realized that I had to make a choice, not just for myself, but for our family's well-being. Looking back, I think the key takeaway from this experience is that relationships are complex, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Choosing family over friends wasn't easy, but it was necessary for us. It forced us to reevaluate our priorities and to communicate more effectively. Of course, there were consequences. My wife's friends didn't understand our decision, and there was some fallout. But in the end, our family came out stronger, and that's what mattered. So, what do you think? Have you ever faced a similar dilemma? Share your own experiences in the comments below and don't. Today, I'm diving into a wild Reddit AITA story where I have to choose between my kids and my wife. Can I handle the heat of this tough decision? Today's story is a doozy, folks, and it's all about a father's difficult choice to prioritize his children over his wife. Yeah, you read that right, kids over wife. That's a tough one, and it's gonna get emotional. So, buckle up and let's dive in. The father in this story is clearly torn between meeting his wife's expectations and fulfilling his children's needs. On one hand, he wants to be a good partner and make his wife happy, but on the other hand, he's a dad who desperately wants to be there for his kids. It's a classic dilemma that many of us can relate to, and I'm curious to see how he navigates this tricky situation. The more I read this story, the more I realize just how much pressure this father is under. His wife is expecting a certain level of attention and intimacy, but his kids are demanding attention of their own. They're going through a tough time, and they need their dad to be present. It's like he's being pulled in multiple directions, and I'm not sure how he's going to come out on top. As a parent, it's natural to want to protect and provide for your kids, but what about your partner? Don't they deserve some love and attention too? It's a delicate balance, and this father is struggling to find it. According to the father, he's always been a hands-on dad, but lately, his wife has been getting increasingly frustrated with the amount of time he's spending with the kids. She feels like they're being neglected, and she's not getting the attention she deserves. I get it, being a partner is tough, and it's easy to feel like you're not getting the love and appreciation you crave. But then there's the kids. They're going through a rough patch, and they need their dad to be there for them. The father says they're dealing with some major emotional issues, and they require a lot of care and attention. It's not like he can just ignore their needs and focus on his wife. That would be unfair to the kids. So, what does the father do? He tries to find ways to spend quality time with his wife, but it's hard when the kids are demanding so much of his attention. He's constantly feeling guilty, like he's failing one way or the other. It's an impossible situation, and I'm not sure what I would do if I were in his shoes. The father finally reaches a breaking point, and he realizes he has to make a choice. He decides to prioritize his kids, and that decision has some serious consequences. His wife is furious, and she feels like he's chosen the kids over her. It's a tense situation, and I'm not sure how their relationship will recover from this. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that the father's decision has a profound impact on everyone involved. His kids feel seen and heard, but his wife feels neglected and unloved. It's a heavy emotional burden to carry, and I'm not sure if the father made the right choice. Looking back on this story, I'm struck by the complexity of this situation. There's no easy answer, and every decision has its own set of consequences. The father's journey is a tough one, and it makes me appreciate the challenges that come with being a parent and a partner. If you want to hear more stories like this, be sure to check out my other videos, and don't forget to share your thoughts on this story in the comments below. What would you do if you were in the father's shoes? Would you choose your kids or your wife? Let me know in the comments.
To make it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry